Cindy. I'll be right there. Welcome, welcome. Okay, looks like I am ready to roll. Whoops. Whenever I think I'm ready, I'm usually not. But anyway, hello, 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 and welcome. It is Tuesday, February 16th, 2 days after Valentine's Day. I hope you had a sweet day. Today we're going to talk about messy houses. Who's got them, who doesn't? And if you say you never do, I don't believe you. I just don't believe you. Right now I live with my husband and my daughter, who doesn't really hang out with us that much. She has her own life and doesn't, like do family stuff with us as much anymore. It's so sad. But anyway, even with just the two of us around, we still find things get messy in the kitchen or the living room or the bedroom, wherever it is. But I'm much better about staying on top of it than I used to be. But I know not everybody is, and that's okay. I still love you. But I'm going to show you a way that you can use a surface found at Dollar Tree to create a sign that you can warn your unexpected guests about your house and your life, because it's okay. They didn't come to see your mess. They came to see you, right? Alrighty. So if you are just hopping in, please be sure to say hello. I am going to set up my screen here, and we are going to get working. This is going to be a pretty quick project. I try to keep them quick so that they're not taking up all night for either you or I. So this is what I'm going to be doing tonight. I'm working with a tag that I bought at the Dollar Tree, excuse me. And I painted it. It had this really weird kind of Easter bunny thing on the back side. And I just sanded it a little bit and painted it white. So it's ready to be used as a different kind of project. So while I have this out here, please hit that SHARE tab on your computer or your mobile device, and that will help me grow my audience. So I really do appreciate when you do that for me. You are my best advertising, and it's a great compliment to me when you do sprinkle my videos. So thank you for doing that. Anyway, so back to this tag. So I have, like I said, I've given it a couple coats of paint, but last night I showed you how you can use an envelope or a piece of paper as a sanding tool, and this is pretty smooth. It's just got the slightest little bit of roughness to it. So I'm just going to use this folded up envelope and very gently use it kind of to sand my project. You won't even notice that there's dust or anything, but when you paint something, it can raise the grain of the wood beneath it and make it feel a little less smooth than we like it. So just go over it nice and easy. Don't put too much pressure on it. And if you do, you could actually scratch your project, believe it or not. So keep it nice and easy, and just go over it, and you'll notice how much smoother it is. Yeah, you know what I mean, Cindy. You know. All right, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a smaller size transfer, and this is a really fun one. It says, "This house was clean yesterday. Sorry you missed it." And I could put it on there just like that, hang it on the door and call it a day, but no, that is not the way we roll. We have to dress it up a little bit, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this ribbon. It's my favorite, the Buffalo Plaid Check, to make a bow to put at the top of this. And I wanted to put a little bit more Buffalo Plaid down at the bottom. So I've got my mini Buffalo Plaid transfer here. You guys have seen me use this a lot. It's a great way to fill in a space that is just missing something, or it's not quite as large as of a design than you'd want on a surface of this size. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to take my Buffalo Plaid, and instead of peeling the whole thing off and just putting this edge of it on my surface, what I'm going to do is kind of peel it up, and I'm going to put the surface inside. So the trick here is going to be to get this lined up straight And so that's pretty easy because I can see right through it here. And you want it to be not, I don't want it to go over the design here. So I'm going to go down another row of blocks here, like right about here. And as long as I use this straight edge on the bottom of my project, it should be good. What do you think? Maybe one more row down? Yeah, I think we're going to go one more. One more. So I'm just using the lines on the bottom of the transfer as my guide. So when you are doing this, putting your transfer under like I did here, the one thing I always warn people about is to be careful that you don't like push around the edges and stretch out your transfer. You gotta be really careful about this. I'm gonna move this just a little bit. Seems like I pulled a little bit of the transfer off. So let's just go around this side and we'll try it in another spot. Normally it wouldn't matter, but we're working on such a small area today that we're gonna change it a little. There we go. I think that's about it. Double check here. Move that out in a second. Just want to make sure I have the right length. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so as soon as you got that in a happy place, take your mini squeegee or your whatever squeegee you have and just sort of smooth this down nice and tight, as tight as you can get it. When you're using this transfer in particular, I'm going to warn you that it doesn't always come out perfectly. It's not really meant to. It's kind of a rustic look, and if you have little bits of bleed along the way, it's normal and it's perfectly okay. It's just part of the look. So that feels pretty good. Nice and tight. Okay, so I'm going to be doing this in black, which is called black velvet, to match the ribbon that I have here. And my house is gray and it has kind of a berry colored door. So I'm thinking that I'm going to use shimmer crimson for the words. What do you think of that? It's a pretty color. So let's check on our black, see if it looks happy. It looks pretty happy, nice and creamy looking. Let's give it a stir. You always want to stir your chalk paste before you get started. Sometimes the oils and the pigments separate a little bit, and you want to be sure to try to incorporate them. This is pretty nice, actually. You want it to be about the consistency of cake batter. A little bit thicker is okay, but if it feels like brownie batter, spray a little bit of distilled water in there and stir it really well, just like I'm doing here, until you get the consistency that you want. All right, this just moved. Let's pull it back. Stay. Okay, I think I've got it like pushed into the transfer too hard. There, that'll do it. All right, so I'm gonna take my mini squeegee. Before I do that, I'm gonna plug in my glue gun. You just plug this in beside me so we're ready to go. I've been having a little trouble with my glue gun, and I had my husband take it apart for me tonight, and it seems to be working better. We shall see. All right, here we go. So I'm going to scoop out some of that black chalk paste. This is called Black Velvet, and just smooth it over the whole design. There we go, and I get right to the edges. It's nice that you can use a straight line on the plaid like this, because you know that your design is on straight. As long as the bottom is cut straight, it'll be fine. A little bit more on here. Hello, Mary Jane. It was so good to see you yesterday. I got to visit with my friend Mary Jane, and actually we got to go out to lunch, so it's been, I don't know, way too long. At least a year, pretty much a year since I've seen her. So that was awesome. I loved it. Okay, so we're scooping off all the excess and putting the extra chalk from the squeegee right back into the jar to use for another project. A little goes a long way. And then we're going to remove the transfer from the surface. Ready? The peel and reveal. Oh yeah. Cute. Love it. Love, love, love it. I'm going to move this transfer out of the way before I get stuff all over everything. All right, so you're going to see how much this actually fills in the surface that we're working with. And I think having the buffalo plaid on the top and the bottom is going to pull it together nicely. Yeah, we got to do that again, Mary Jane, for sure. Okay, we're going to dry this for just a second before we go to the next step, which will be to put this part on, which says this house was clean yesterday. Sorry you missed it. So chalk paste is water-soluble chalk, kind of a more sophisticated version of what you used to play with on the sidewalk. It goes on wet and dries hard in a matter of minutes. You can let it air dry, or you can dry it with a hair dryer or a heat tool. It's already dry. Love that. Okay. So again, this is called This House Was Clean. If you guys like this transfer and the buffalo plaid, I put a link to it in the description of this live. You could just click on it and get both of them there. One of the new things on my website is that you can now add a catalog to your order for $2, which is a steal. Grab one if you can. They are kind of like the wish book that you used to get when you were a kid at Sears. I think Sears and JCPenney used to send the Christmas wish book. Oh my gosh, we love those. So anyway, add a catalog, but this one and the buffalo plaid is in there. If you already have one or two of these already, just take it out of the cart. No big deal. So we're going to peel this off. This is a brand new transfer from our new catalog. And I believe it's available. Last time I looked, it was anyway. So I'm just going to write on the back. And I'm going to call it This House Was Clean. So the main reason that I write on the back of my transfer is because the transfers are reusable, and after you've used it, and take it to your sink as soon as you can. Wash it with lukewarm water. We have a board eraser that cleans them beautifully, but don't use any soap or anything like that. So clean it, let it dry, sticky side up, and then you put it back on this paper carrier sheet. So the side that I wrote on is sort of a matte finish, but the side that's attached to this, the transfer, is very slippery. So the transfer is really sticky, kind of like a sticker, and this will keep it from sticking to the paper. If you put it on the side, it's really hard to get off sometimes. So it's a kind of reminder not to put your transfer on the wrong side. So this is a pretty sticky feeling transfer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lie it on a towel. I just ordered some new fuzzing towels, which is kind of what this is. The ones that I'm getting are Chalk Couture brand. One side is a towel side, like this one here, and the other side is microfiber. So you lie it on the towel side just to pick up a little bit of lint from the towel to soften the adhesive so it's not quite so sticky. The other side of the fuzzing towels, the microfiber side, is perfect for when you've washed your transfers and you need to just lay them to dry sticky side up like this. Put them on the microfiber. It really helps dry them quickly. So you're just going to put them on and off a few times. If you don't have a towel handy, a t-shirt, a pair of jeans, any of those things will do. Try not to get hair in it though. That's the sticky part. So go back in the center here. Put this right about, this is going to be easy to line up, huh? Right about there. Some things are easier than other things to line up. I don't know why. So make sure that's down nice and smooth. If you see any bumps in there, just peel your transfer up a little bit and place it back down. And I always recommend that you go over your surface with a squeegee, just to make sure you don't miss any bumps or bubbles. Every now and then you hear a snap, crackle, and pop. All right, so I showed you the paste color before. This is Shimmer Crimson. Put a little up here for you. It's kind of a cranberry, a berry-colored red with just the slightest amount of shimmer in it. So what do you think? Do you think this is a good color for my house? The gray, I have a gray house with a berry-colored door. So I think that'll look pretty good, especially with the bow. I just didn't want it to look Christmassy, you know? All right, I'm gonna go for it. And this shimmer paste, it always is lovely. It just stays beautiful. It doesn't get thick. It just stays really nice. It does feel a little bit different than our other chalk paste because it's got like a little gritty feeling to it. But it's not glittery at all. It just has the slightest bit of shimmer. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. So we're going to do that in exactly the same way we did the bottom. Scoop up some of your chalk paste and spread it over your whole design like so. Once you've done this for a while, you get an idea of how much you need. When you're first starting, I say use as much as you want. Just make sure that everything's covered. And you don't want it to dry on your surface before you remove the transfer. So you need to pull it up while it's still wet. And if you put a heavier coat, if you're slower at chalking, you lessen the chances of it drying on your surface. So put it on there nice and thick until you're comfortable. And again, you just go back over it, scoop up all the extra, and put it back in your jar. All right, we are almost done. So if you have any questions while I'm working, please don't hesitate to ask. Happy to answer. So here we go. While it's still wet, we're going to move that transfer. I love this font. It kind of reminds me of Radon. That's that pottery that a lot of people collect. I have a friend who has 1,000,000 pieces. You can get it at Marshall's and TJ Maxx. It's that white pottery with the tall, thin letters like this. They're kind of wonky and cool. I have a couple pieces. So far, so good, you guys? Let's dry this up. So yeah, the Dollar Tree is a great place to find surfaces if you don't mind painting a little bit. Find all kinds of things in there. Sometimes you find better things than other times. Alright. So can you see how helpful it was to have the plaid on the bottom? It would have just gotten lost on this tag without it. Love it. So, by the way, if you don't find tags at your Dollar Tree, I do have them in my online store. However, they are sold out at the moment, but I'm expecting them to come back any minute. Any minute. All right, so let's talk about bows. I am not a professional bow maker. My mom was very good at it, and I learned a little bit from her, but she was the master. And my husband could actually make them too pretty well. Yeah, Cindy. Gosh, why not? So let's see, how big do we want this bow? I figured I wanted it about, do I want it bigger than the surface or a little bit smaller? Maybe a little smaller. I don't want this to be huge, huge. So I made the loop about the size of the bow that I want it to be. And I'm going to wrap this around, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times. Depending on how fat of a bow you want. If you want it really, really full, you'll do more loops. I'm just kind of making loops. Wrapping it around itself. Mom used to be able to whip these things up like nothing. Alright, let's see, what do we got here? We got 3. Let's do one more. I don't know, I always want to use odd numbers when I'm making bows or flowers or things like that. Alright, if Leslie was here, she'd know what to do, but she might be. She's just being quiet tonight. She does that sometimes. Alright, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut it a little longer. Stay. Okay. Alright, so this is how my mom taught me how to do this. You fold the bow in half, the loops that you made, And what she did was she took a pair of scissors, and there are a million ways to make bows, but right in the center she would cut a little V like so. And she swore this made the bows better, so we'll see. Depending on you, Mama. There we go. Don't cut all the way through. So then she would take a piece of floral wire. You'll teach me how to make a bow? Oh my gosh, do I need help with that? I've watched YouTube videos. There's all kinds of tutorials about how to do it. I don't know. I was never that good at it. I tried a few times, so I try, right? Okay, so fold it in half and put a wire in the middle right where those two little V's are and give it a good tight twist. A couple of them. All right, so then you should have a tail that'll come down this way in the middle. Oh, it's really short. That's all right, we'll make it work. And then what you would do is pull the loops from the middle out, pull it up, and then you pull one down, and then up, and then down. We might have to fake some tails on this one. And then the same on the other side. Up and down. And then you fluff it all up. How am I doing, Mary Jane? Not bad. It's not bad. We gotta play with it. I'm gonna need to add a little tail in the back here, I think, because I cut that one too short. It's all good. All right, let's make a little tail for this. I'll just add it into the wire. Why'd you guys let me do that? Okay, I'll just twist this in. There's a little bit left back here. I'm crushing down all my fluffing right now. That's okay, we can fix it. I love using wired ribbon. So much nicer than unwired. And I'll just keep fussing with this till it's nice and puffy and cute. So far, so good? All right, let's get that glue gun out. Your friend John, who has no hands, taught you how? That's not fair. That's just wrong. Can you come over? I think he made us cookies one time. Am I mistaken with that, Mary Jane? So I have, there's a hole in this tag, so I'm just going to throw this little, see if I can wire it together here. I'm afraid the bow's going to go wonky. Maybe I'll just glue it there. Skip that. All right, so I know I have to cut the tails, but let's see how that's going to look. What do you think? All right, let's get my glue out because it seems to be working now. Put a little bit of glue there and pop this on, and then we'll trim it up a little. Just gonna hold that tight. You know, I love buffalo plaid too. It just goes with everything. Everything. All right, let's cut these tails because they are way too long. So the way that I cut my tails is I fold the ribbon in half, and then starting at the outer edge, or where the wire is in this case, going up straight into the middle is how you cut your little fanned out tails. Get this one here. I inevitably get one longer than the other, but that's the way I roll. All right, this looks pretty good. That is how you make a small transfer work on a large surface. We did it. I love it. Yep, everything's buffalo plaid for me. All right, I'm gonna flip my camera. Whoops, sorry. I'm going to try to flip my camera back around so you can see it up close. There we go. It's got a little hanger in the back so you can put it right by your door in case unexpected or uninvited visitors come over, you are ready. They were warned, right? Okay, so I'm going to put my website back up here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, leave me a comment or in there. Thanks, Mary Jane. Check out my website. There are links up above in the description of this post to where you can purchase these 2 transfers, as well as check out my website. Don't forget your catalog. My Club Couture, which is my exclusive club for my customers, where you get an exclusive transfer every month. You get chalk paste samples, you get sales, you get catalogs, you get all kinds of great things. So you want to be able to get in the club. There's also a link for our starter kit. Let me pop that up real quick. And this is, oh, that's not it. Gosh, this is it. This is it. Come on now. There we go. Let me move this. This is our starter kit. So if you have never chalked before, or you've been doing it for a long time, this is our kit where you get $240 worth of product for $99, and you can be a designer full-time, part-time, or as a hobbyist, however you want to do it. We have designers that do lives like this, like I'm doing tonight. We have designers who like to teach hands-on project workshops, which is my thing. We have people that make and sell finished products, and we have other people that are just hobbyists and like to get their own stuff at a discount. So if you fit any of those bills, be sure to let me know and I can get you some information. Here is our cute little project for tonight. I'm so glad that you were with me to share in this. It was lots of fun to see you. And I will be back tomorrow night. I'll let you know when. So go clean your house so you have plenty of time to watch, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. Bye-bye. Whoops.